What up, boys? This is 02 Adam with your second edition of the Morning Skate for Season 37. This is all post-draft information. We're going to be going over everything Moose hockey on the Morning Skate. It's a 15-minute or less show done pretty much on the fly. I do have some basic notes here that I'm following, but like to keep it fresh, like to keep it fun, and I'm always willing to listen to any of the community's input on what you want to hear about for the week. I am going to try to do the show at least once a week, trying to get some content out there for you guys, keep you interested in what's going on in the MHL. So last night we had the draft. It was an exciting night. Draft night is always exciting in Moose hockey. This is my 5th season with the Moose, and the first back with the live auction draft. That was actually my first season, and then one of the reasons I kind of entered was I was kind of intrigued by the bidding process, and kind of sounded fun as a player. And you know, as a captain now, it's a little less fun. It's a little stressful, actually, sitting through the draft. But with that being said, I think it's great for our community. Again, we added 2 teams this season, so we're up to 12. We're back into the divisions, which is just going to bring more competitiveness to our league. So if you have players out there that are looking for something fresh and something that has been around and stood the test of time, we're in the season 37. We're not going anywhere. We're looking to expand. So send them on over to MHL.hockey, and we'll be happy to set them up with a captain that can get them in some games here. So let's get right into the draft. I do want to say thank you to the MEC. Thank you to Blue Luckton for running the draft as the auctioneer, and MBell for your work when Luckton was gone, as well as your work on the sheet. We really appreciate that. And, you know, this live auction draft wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for the members that, you know, stand up for our league and really do the work behind the scenes that no one really sees. I mean, it takes a lot of work to run a league like this. So thank you to you guys. Thank you for bringing the excitement into the Moose for this season. No better time than with NHL 19, new game. We got some fresh faces in the league, so everything's looking up. The Moose draft, I think it went as smoothly as possible. And again, this goes back to thanking you guys, but this system used to be ran off of software. And from what I understand, the software would have cost a ton of money if we wanted to do it on a regular basis. So these guys sat down and did it on a manual basis. Of course, it's going to add to the time. It did turn into a longer process, but we do have some tips and tricks on how we're going to be able to increase that in the next season. One of the things that someone mentioned was, you know, we had a lot of people that were just hanging out till the going once, going twice, and then putting in the bid. I mean, not only does that make more work for the guys doing the auction, but it also adds to the time. Now, not a lot of time, but when you take into consideration 120 players getting drafted, that's, you know, quite a bit of seconds that add up. And, you know, for some of the players, it's just kind of just a bidding war. So if you want to speed it up, you know, sit back, get your players, and, you know, maybe that'll make it a little bit quicker. The other thing is we had a few potty breaks. You know, we really got to keep those breaks to maybe 2 to 3 minutes. 5 minutes is excessive. But with that being said, doing this manually, it's going to take a little bit longer. But, you know, by far I had a ton of fun being a part of the draft. The draft pre-show was great, even though it was pretty much unscripted. We kind of just talked about a few things and rolled right into the draft. But I think that actually was more fun for me. I don't know how the community feels, but I love the live auction draft. So the first topic I'm going to cover with the draft is going to be the highest paid players. So I got a list of 5 players, and I'm going to break them down quickly here. Number 1 highest paid player of the season 37 draft is none other than NJ Ski 711. If you tuned into MHL Morning Skate number 1, I think I might have mentioned him, but I knew he was going to go for quite a bit of bags of dick, and yeah, he did. 55 bags of dick. NJ Ski went to the MHL Devils, so he'll be on a line with Collinelli. That alone is going to be some serious offense. I don't yet know who they're going to slot in that center spot yet, but they do have quite a few options sitting there. NJ Ski, 55 bags of dick with our number 1 highest paid player. The number 2 highest paid player goes out to a D-man. And this was actually one of the surprising bids. Not anything against the player. I think he deserves every dick that he can get. He's a great D-man and probably one of the top D-men in the league. But Poopy went ahead and grabbed MBell at 51 bags of dicks. Again, I think Poopy and Spudweiser are going to be the main source of offense. At least that's maybe what they're hoping. I know Spudweiser was great on Poopy's team when he took over the makeshift team last season, so I know that they have some chemistry there. I don't know who, again, they're going to fill in that last spot. Maybe Grew. They spent 15 bags of dick on him, but M. Bell goes out to the number 2 spot, and the highest paid players in the MHL this season at 51 bags of dick. And again, he's the highest paid defenseman in the league, so congrats to him. Number 3 goes to my boy A1 Freak, who I decided to add to the lineup this season. I pretty much made the decision going into the draft that I was willing to put a good dollar amount on a center or a left wing. I know I'm primarily center, but I'm definitely willing to move aside for the top center in the league. And, not only does it take him off of any other team in the league and puts him with us, but I think the knowledge of his game and the points and his cups speak for themselves. So I wanted to add a championship player that's going to bring the leadership to the game, but also someone that I know is going to, stand out and produce on the team too. So it's going to be me, him, and surprise me up front, with our back end being Beautiful Wiener. And we'll be adding a few pieces here and there. But A1 Freak, top center of the league, going for 50 bags of dick, the number 3 player this season. And then we'll go into number 4, also a defenseman, someone that I also believe deserves every dick that they got. Goes to the Worcester Railers. This is Luck 10 making his MHL season return here in season 37 with 45 bags of dicks. Next topic for today is going to be our highest paid rookies. Highest paid rookies. The number 1 highest paid rookie this season is Bo Horvat Jr. Had the privilege of playing a few games with him. He's one of the question marks actually on my list, and we'll get to that later, but he is the number 1 paid rookie this season. I had a couple other rookies here that I think could also have gone a little higher that they may have not gone for. So that was Wozy US. I believe the Railers got him for quite a steal. He only went for 8, so kind of the comparison of player. But Bo Horvat Jr. for 28, I think the pressure that's going to add to the game is great. I kind of like that. I know I'm gonna be in the chat holding them to all 28 of those dicks all season. So Bo Horvat Jr., 28 bags of dick, number 1 paid rookie. Make sure you let him know about it. Put the pressure on him. Let's go to number 2. This is the MVP showcase winner, and that's Lippy, 830. He's also sitting on, I believe, let me find him on the roster sheet here. I can't remember what team ended up picking him up, but he went for 16 bags of dicks. Oh, he's actually on Blue Liner's team as well, Blue and SBDR. I'm guessing that he'll be in the pipes on the occasion that Blue Liner isn't, or if Blue Liner's sitting, who knows? Maybe he will play D on those nights. I don't know what their plan is, but Lippy goes for 16 bags of dicks to the Worcester Railers. Now we're going to roll into our overpaid players, and none of these numbers are any offense to the players because, to be quite honest, you didn't draft yourself at that number. And I think all of the players on the list have the talent to produce. But my number 1 overpaid player, and the reason this is just based on situation. It's going to go to the San Diego Gulls, paying, and this is their highest paid player on the team, and they're paying Epic 37 bags of dicks, and I believe he'll be their starting goaltender. He's definitely the standout goaltender in scouting this season. I don't know. Epic had some amazing games playing with me, so it's hard to say anything negative at all. But again, it comes down to the situation here. I didn't understand paying a goalie that much on a cap of 100. I think the most comparable goalie to him would be, Prophets of Rage, and I'm pretty sure he won the Vezina. He went for about half of that, less than half of that, at 15 bags of dick. So I'm going to have to criticize the MHL Gulls on the decision to pretty much put their salary in his glove hand, but hopefully it pays off for him. I know Fast definitely can produce with the offense. I think he's hoping that his buddy Divine Mitz is going to be able to step up and produce with him. Maybe one of the guys that they stole late in the draft, Jordo, I heard he's a point producer. But that's a question mark for me, just situational based. Epic, great player, but he's going to be my number one overpaid player for the season 37. My second overpaid player goes out to the Swamp Rabbits, and that's Sir Puffington. He went for 27 bags of dick. I believe he plays in another league. He might be an owner. I've played a few games with him at forward. I heard he can play goalie. I just didn't see the move there. If you look at the quality of players on the list at around 30 bags of dicks, I think they had a better choice. Offensively, I think Puffington is a great player to fill your lineup, next to a top forward. For instance, if we use my team as an example, put him next to Surprise Me, and he's going to look good. That's kind of what I'm doing, obviously. But, I just don't think he's going to be the number one point producer for them, and that's kind of the spot I see him slated in here as their highest paid player. So Sir Puffington, number 2, as the second highest overpaid player. Number 3, we already mentioned him. I won't really say much more, but I believe Bo Horvat Jr. is going to be the number 3 highest overpaid player this season at 28. And then we'll end with number 4 highest overpaid player, and that's on the Mariners with G-code 37. I can't say that I know much about the guy, so again, there's nothing against him, but with the quality of players sitting at that number available for bidding, I just didn't see that it made much sense. And towards the end of the draft, you can see with Title's draft, I don't know if it was strategy-based or not, but he's got a lot of players with just 2, 2, 1, 2, and 1. Most of his players are really locked up in 2 or 3 guys. Confident in the netminder abilities on their team. Again, the question mark is going to be, can they put it together offensively on a regular basis against some of the top squads? I see them as a middle-of-the-pack team. G-code, again, just not being the top dollar getter that I think Title wants out of them. So we'll see. 37 bags of dicks for G-code. All right, rolling into the underpaid players here. We're getting at the 12-minute mark, so I'm going to try to speed it up here. Underpaid player this season, and I just got one on the list. There's quite a bit of underpaid players in my opinion, but this is a strategy too. I want to keep my opinions to myself somewhat. You guys feel free to comment on what I missed or comment on what you think should be or shouldn't be. But my number 1 underpaid player this season for season 37 is Daydreams. He went for a measly 5 bags of dicks to the MHL Growlers. That's Captain Red Squadron and co-captain Riesland. I think he'll be a great addition to their offense. They have a high-paid player in Vanishing Clown, formerly known as Draward. Great dude. I think he's going to be a perfect fit for their team. And, in the games I played with Daydreams, I was so surprised in this draft to see his name still on the list. I was the one that nominated him. I was hoping to steal him for even less. But even at 5, he's going to produce some points well above what you see some of these other guys going for at the same number. Teams to beat. All right, everyone's wondering, all right, who do I think has the best lineup? Of course, I think I have a great lineup. I think our offense is going to be something to contend with. But I'm going to leave my team out of this. I think the teams to beat, in my eyes, are the MHL Devils. That's Collinelli and Hall, Maine. And the MHL Broncos, which is Poopy and Spudweiser. The Devils, overall, they have a pretty stacked offense. You can't ask for much more between Hall, Maine and NJ Ski. And I know a couple guys on their list that could definitely hop in there at the center spot and do more than enough to push the puck around to those guys and watch them fill the net. Their defense, obviously, isn't a question either. Collinelli is great on the D end. Akis is going to be a standout player this season, whether he is held on the Devils all year. If he gets moved around, I think he's going to be a difference maker for whatever team he plays on. He can play pretty much anywhere. Great utility guy, but I hate to say the word utility because it feels like he's less than a great player. But I think he can play a lot of positions very, very good, and maybe a few of them just good. But he's overall a very good player. Devils are going to be the team to beat for me, and then the MHL Broncos are in the second spot as the team to beat. Spudweiser, I think he's an underrated offenseman. I think they have a couple of guys on the list here that may be some steals in the draft. One of them being PX Melrose. DeBrusque wasn't bad. He's a part-timer. And then you got the guys that are going to produce, like M. Bell. He's going to be doing his best on the DN, and King 412. I think he's the steal of the draft when it comes to goalies. So they got what they need. The pieces are there. Are the teams are going to perform? That's going to be the question going into it. I'm going to end here with the bottom teams. Everyone's going to rip me for the bottom teams, but the bottom teams, and all three of these really for the same reasons. I got the Rabbits, the Wildcats, and the Sound Tigers pretty much being the bottom of the league, I feel, this season. Main reason being their draft strategies seem to be, other than Sir Puffington going for 27 on the Rabbits, the draft strategies seem to be pretty even keel. No one was spending big amounts of dicks on any certain player. So kind of call them my budget teams, and nothing against them. I think if they work together and they have the chemistry that they think that they have, they can definitely fight for a playoff spot, but I don't think they're going to be cup contenders, just mainly because I don't see any offense on the team. I don't see anyone that's going to be able to go up against the Devils, the Broncos, some of these teams with some big name D-men, and do their way with them. I just don't see it happening. So those are my bottom teams of the league. I want you all to be looking out for the website. A lot of people are going to be posting in the next couple days their draft grades. I'm sure a lot of people are going to be talking about what I missed here in the show, and that's something that we really want to encourage from the community. Go ahead and add your content, add your draft grades, add what you don't think, who's going to be hot, who's not, whatever. There's a tab on the website for all of that. I want to give a shout out to all the people that didn't get drafted as well. Waivers have a great chance to end up on a team in our league. There's multitudes of ways that can happen, whether there's players that aren't performing on rosters now that get dropped, whether there's trades that occur, whether there's enough waiver games played. All that is in consideration for you joining the team. So best thing is to stay active in the chat. Also look for our Pick 6 tournaments on Sundays, as well as any waiver games that we can host. Those are going to be your best chances for landing on a team. And I'll end you with this. Just go Admirals. Have a great day, everyone.